Inman, author of When the Air Comes Out of the Ball. JR, how did you first get interested in playing basketball?
I started playing basketball when I was 8 years old. My father was my first coach. We played in the Police Athletic League in Haverstraw, New York. That pretty much jump-started my career as a young player. I then went on to play AAU ball in middle school, and then after that I attended St. Joe's here to carry on my career in my next phase. What really got me started with sports in general, my father was a former retired NFL player. He played for the 49ers. And growing up, I played a lot of sports. But as I continued to grow, both literally in height and get up there in age, I pretty much shifted my focus towards basketball. And that's pretty much what jump-started my career as a basketball player.
Okay, describe your time here at St. Joe's.
It was amazing. St. Joe's has a family-oriented atmosphere. I was told that before I came here, and that's the main reason why I decided to come. Because of the brotherhood and the camaraderie between the students and the faculty and the staff is amazing. Obviously, we have a prestigious athletic department with success from pretty much all the sports teams, but specifically football and baseball. Going to the games as an 8th grader really drew me in. Obviously, we have some fierce competitors with Bergen Catholic, Don Bosco, and other local schools around the area, so the decision was tough. But if I had to say one thing that separated St. Joe's from the rest, I would say that the chemistry and alumni support is what gravitated me to commit myself to come here.
Now, when you were playing basketball for St. Joe's, what is your most memorable moment?
Most memorable moment playing basketball at St. Joe's? I'll say two. The first is my senior year. We played in a showcase game at Patterson-Kennedy. We played against Episcopal Academy, which at the time was the number 19th ranked team in the country. We were unranked in the country. We were probably top 5 in the state that year. And it was a showcase game because on Episcopal they featured 2 McDonald's All-Americans, Wayne Ellington, who later went on to go to North Carolina and now plays with the Timberwolves, and Gerald Henderson, who went on to Duke University and then played with the Bobcats, I believe he's on. The reason why that was the most memorable is because the guy who facilitated that tournament was is the president of the Tim Thomas Players Basketball Club, Jimmy Salmon, and he coached myself, Wayne, and Gerald Henderson. We were all on the same team, and he was busting my chops before the game started, telling me about how we were going to lose the game. And I remember telling him, because that team is from Pennsylvania. We were obviously representing the home state. The game was in New Jersey. And I told him about the pride and intensity we were going to play with. Obviously, Jason and Devin McCourty were on that team. And I just remember, right from start to finish, we just applied pressure for the entire game. And for the first time in St. Joe's basketball history, we upset a nationally ranked team and won that game by 4 points. And I scored 36 points that game, and led us to victory along with the assistance from our fellow co-captains, Jason and Devin McCourty.
Okay. What was the process like in creating this book?
Process. I started my senior year in college at Rutgers. I would say before the season started, it started as a doodling project where I would just write down my thoughts and frustrations from time to time. 1 page led to 10, 10 led to 20, which led to a chapter. And I continued after graduation writing throughout all of my professional endeavors overseas. And it was in Israel. I was in Jerusalem, Israel at the time that I completed my manuscript. And from there, the gap between finishing the manuscript and getting it published was about a 1.5-year process. Reason being is because even when I finished the manuscript, I still wasn't convinced that it was ready to be a published book. I kind of dwindled with the project for a while. And then one day I just woke up and said, you know what, I'm just going to go forth and try to get it published. I had no idea whether I wanted to go self-publishing or with a major publishing company, so I started Googling and trying to figure out the pros and cons of each. And after speaking to some people, some companies, I felt that at this point in my career, self-publishing was the best bet for me. So then in December 6th of this past year, that's when I officially got it published.
Okay, can you give us a little preview of your book?
When the Air Comes Out of the Ball is an inspirational autobiography. It serves a multitude of purposes. First, to encourage and influence kids to utilize their gifts as windows of opportunity to make their dreams become reality. And secondly, to expose them to both the glamours and rigors of professional sports. There's a misconception. The media glorifies, of course, the positivity that these athletes have, whether it's basketball, baseball, football. And they always talk about the positive statistics of the people that make it. So as a kid, you look up and say, wow, I want to be like that person. They never tend to shed light upon the people that don't make it to the next level, the people that didn't have a backup plan to fall on. So for me, in exposing kids to my message, I thought that the most important part was for them to understand that everything you do in life, you have to have a plan. And with that plan comes a process from start to finish, simple to how you go to college and you start off as a freshman, you finish as a senior. Everything starts and ends with a process. And also with that plan, you have to understand if things should not happen to work out your way, you have to have something to fall back on. I talk in my book about a couple of statistics, the fact that only 2% of college athletes ever get to see pro in their prospective professional sport. And out of the 2%, 68% of all retired football players and about 60% of all retired basketball players face bankruptcy or financial hardship within 5 years after retirement. And the main reason for this is because they don't establish a plan. They, since birth or since the time they were young, only think about that one specified sport and skill and don't try to manifest that same energy into something else that can promote prosperity in their future. So once again, this is just an inspiring message that I thought when young kids, demographically, from the ages, I would say 13 to around 21, I intend on being most receptive towards. However, the messages that lie within can be applied to all ages, male, female, young, and old. And that's pretty much it.
Okay. When your book is already out, where is it available to buy?
It's available on Amazon.com, BarnesandNobles.com, by obviously typing in the keyword of the title when the air comes out of the ball. It is also on 15,000 internet distribution companies. It's available on ebooks for $3.99. And it's also available on my website, www.wintheair.com. Either way, it's pretty widely available.
Gerald, you talk about having a plan throughout your life. What is your plan on doing, what do you plan on doing after you're done playing basketball?
Well, I'm going to take, I don't want to be a hypocrite, so I'm going to do what I'm telling the kids to do. I'm going to use my talents as windows of opportunity. And one thing I realized is that I'm a good writer. So with that, I definitely see myself having a future in writing, whether that's being an author, columnist, anything of that sort. I want to implement my skills in some way, shape, or form in writing. From an educational standpoint, I have a Bachelor's of Arts in Communications and Mass Media from Rutgers. However, I don't want to stop there. I want to eventually go back to school and get my master's degree, and possibly this can be an opportunity for me to just build my educational resume so that when I go back to school, people could see the severity of my application and realize that education is very important to somebody like me who has a long career in sports, but definitely sees the bigger picture. So for me, education, going back and getting my master's would pretty much be my next my next level of success, if you will, that I intend on doing.
Okay, thanks, Gerald.
All right, thank you. Great.